My name is Mary Olivia Ledbetter, and I was born in September the 21st, 1928, in Green Hill, which is in Rutherford County. I was the daughter of Bergen and Otelia King Ledbetter, and there were 7 of us children, and we were all born in Rutherford County and went to school in Rutherford County. I attended school at St. John, and we had to walk about 3.5 miles one way going to school. And in the wintertime, boy, it was really something to be able to walk through that cold weather and inclement weather and go to school. And when we get to school, our feet and hands would be frozen almost, and the teacher would let us stand around this big wood stove that was heating up the schoolroom to get warm before we could start our classwork. And I went there until the 7th grade. And then I went to New Hope, and from the 8th grade to the 11th grade. They didn't have the 12th grade then. I was the last person that graduated from the 11th grade at New Hope School. And then after I finished high school, I wanted to go to college, and I didn't know whether I was going to get to go or not. But my daddy said, "You go ahead," and said, "We'll see if we can keep you there." So when I got there, I didn't go to Shaw the first year. I went to Concord, North Carolina, to Barber, Scotia the first year. And after I got there, I thought about it, and I wondered if my daddy didn't have enough money, what could I do? So I went to the principal of the president of Barber, Scotia, and told him that I needed a job. So he put me to work that day in the kitchen. And I worked in the kitchen and paid my way, most of it, the rest of that year, to go to school. And then after that, the next year, I decided that I didn't want to go back to Barber, Scotia, that I still wanted to go to Shaw University. So I transferred and went to Shaw University. And when I got there, I went to the business office and told them that my funds were short, and the man gave me a job in the Shaw University post office. And I worked in the post office a few years, and then I worked in the kitchen a few years until I finished and got my degree at Shaw University. And then after that, I went to Lillington, North Carolina, to Shawtown High School, and there I taught home economics, which was my major, and I taught physical education that year. And I stayed there 2 years, and after those 2 years, I transferred and came to Rutherford County. And in Rutherford County, I came to Carver High School, and that was in 1951. Well, I was in Lillington from 51 to 52, and then I came in 1954. No, it wasn't that. Well, between 52 and 54, I taught at Carver High School. And after staying there for about 4 years, I got married and moved to Washington. But while I was at Carver High School, I taught biology, home economics. And Mr. Duncan, Joe Duncan was the principal, and there were about 12 teachers that taught there. When I was in Lillington, there were 32 teachers, because that was a high school and a elementary school all together, and there were 32 teachers there. But when I came to Carver, there were 12 of us. And I taught there 4 years, and then I got married and moved to Washington, D.C. with my husband. And we stayed there for a year and a half, and he got his neck broken in an automobile accident, and we moved to Richmond, Virginia, where he was in the hospital, and we stayed there. He stayed in the hospital there for 8 years, and I worked at Jefferson Manufacturing Company in the office as a clerical assistant in the office there for the years that I was in Richmond, Virginia. And then after that, we decided that we were tired of being there in the hospital, so we moved back to Washington and built a little house there, and we stayed there. But I didn't get to work anymore after then because he was at home from that particular time until we moved back to North Carolina, and I just stayed at home and took care of him. But I did sewing and alterations and things like that at home to bring in a little extra money to help us survive, and we did pretty good. We came back to built this little house here in North Carolina, and that's where I've been ever since 1972, and everything worked out real good, and I'm still alive, and I'm still able to do for myself, but I'm getting up in age now, and I feel like that I just want to enjoy myself being at home and doing little things that I want to do. And I do alterations and sewing still a little bit, but not that much. But in the beginning, when we were young, all 7 of us worked hard on the farm with our daddy. And he was instrumental in doing what he could do to help us. And all 7 of us were able to go to college, and we all finished and got our degrees and got jobs and worked in the school systems where we lived after all of us got married and moved to different places like Lumberton, North Carolina, and Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina, and different places where we live now. We are all able to have our own homes, and we still fighting to stay alive because we had a rough time coming up, but yet and still we enjoyed it, and we would get out and play and enjoy ourselves, and Daddy would and Mother would taught us the things that were basic in life that we needed to know. And if we did something we shouldn't do, we got whippings for it. And when he got ready to give us a whipping, he'd sit us down and talk to us and tell us why he was giving us that whipping. And they took us to church and Sunday school, and we just enjoyed ourselves. And all of us are still living, which is a blessing from the Lord, because I know that a lot of times some of us have had problems that we thought we couldn't get over with, but we are still surviving, and we enjoy each other, and we look out for each other. If something happens to one, the other one comes along, and all of us get together and try to help the other one. And we, all the 6 of us are still living, because my brother went into the service and was drafted, which he didn't want to do, but he did it, and he got killed in Korea. But the 6 of us are still living, and we are still surviving, and we're thankful to the Lord for being able to be still a family together.